Hello, and welcome to Journey to Illustration with R.Leigh Anderson. So I know it's been a very long time since I've done one of these vlogs. About 6 months, I want to say. A lot has happened in my life since then. And I'm just now kind of catching up with it all. And there have been weeks where I get up, paint, eat, and go to sleep, and that's about it all day. Things are finally starting to slow down a bit though, although not for very long. And so I thought I'd just catch you guys up. And if all goes well, I plan to start doing this vlog weekly again. Fingers crossed. So for the most part, I've mainly been focusing on my Stolen by Fairies illustrated novel project, and I've been slowly gaining momentum on that. My first few paintings went pretty slowly as I was learning how to illustrate in gouache. I've used gouache before on portrait projects, but I used them in a tiling method, and now I'm using them in washes. And then doing a little bit of tiling in there, but it's still completely different than what I was used to. And I have been doing a few oil paintings as well for the book, but so far it seems like gouache is really going to be the workhorse for this novel. And I really like the effect that I get with gouache. It gets such a bad rap, but really when you know how to use it, it's a pretty flexible medium. So here's some of my favorite gouache paintings that I've done for the book so far. This piece is entitled Feast for Rodents. Unfortunately, I realized afterwards that neither an opossum or a raccoon were, in fact, rodents. But, you know, feast for woodland creatures doesn't quite have the same ring to it. And this is a piece titled Drunken Fairy. This shows one of my main fairies, Timble, drunk in a red wine glass. This piece was actually the quickest for me to work on. I finished it in about 3 days flat. And that's with pencils and planning and everything. The actual painting process took about 2 days. It's one that I usually receive the most compliments on, which always kind of surprises me because this is the painting where everything just seemed to fall into place on its own. Love paintings like that. I wish more painting was like that, but unfortunately it's usually more of a grind. And then this piece is called Baby Finds a Brownie. Speaking of paintings that are a hard grind, this painting. It took me a while to get the baby correct, and I'm still not overly happy with how the baby's eyes look, but for the most part, I feel like all my studies and countless redraws of the baby paid off. This one was still a lot of fun, it just was also a little nerve-wracking at times. And then this last one is Santa's Cookie Stolen. It's a little house bruni or brownie from Welsh folklore, who has eaten the cookies and drank a little bit of the milk that was left out for Santa. This one also was a pretty quick paint. I have a lot more that I've done painting-wise, but instead of showing them all here, you can find them at my website, rleihanderson.com, or you can find them at my Tumblr blog. Links down below. Something else that's happened since I've vlogged, I went to LuxCon in October, and that was super fun. It was a little bit overwhelming. My anxiety brain was pretty much in overdrive. But after the first day or two, when I was actually, not completely overwhelmed by turning every corner and seeing an amazing masterpiece, I was finally able to take it in and really get feedback on my work. I got to talk to artists that I really, really admire, like Omar Ryan, Steve Houston, Peter Maselja, Gary Lippincott, Tom Kidd, and Justin Gerard. It was very hard not to let my inner fangirl out. I also got to meet a lot of the women I knew online from Wi-Fi, and so that was pretty cool. Back to the amazing, fantastic master artist I talked to, I got a lot of advice. Probably the best advice I got from the show was from Omar Ryan, who told me that my animal fur looked like dead pelts. In a funny way, it was funny, I swear. And he was right, I need to do a lot more animal anatomy studies. And then Steve Houston really took me to town on setting up value stages within the composition of my paintings, so that everything doesn't get completely rendered, which doesn't really give the eye a place to rest. All of them were fantastic critiques, all of them were right on, and I am very, very grateful for every last one that I got. And I've been doing my best to improve when I can. Unfortunately, in November, I didn't have a lot of time to study because I got a children's book agent. It was so exciting, and I am so very grateful to both Wendy and Janice over at Wendy Lynn & Co. That's my agency, Wendy Lynn & Co., who are now representing me. The thing is, I don't have a lot of pieces in my portfolio, so the first order of business was to produce more pieces, and so I've been working on that. Thankfully, my Stolen by Fairies illustrated novel project is a good source of creative prompts for my portfolio work. So I've been a busy bee, just trying to produce as much work as I possibly can. It certainly feels like a small victory, and I really can't wait to work with Wendy on a project. I'm looking forward to it. So that's a pretty good recap of what's been going on for the last 6 months. In December, I didn't really get too much done because vacation and traveling to see family, and then I got sick with sinusitis, which was not fun. But here's what I'm now working on. I've unfortunately had the drawing for Baby's First Christmas on my drafting table for a while now. So my first order of business this week is to get this thing painted and off of my desk. I also, just this Monday, finished the pencil drawing for a piece I'm calling Comfort and Consolation. So that's what's next on my drawing table to paint. I hope to at least get the first wash and maybe the comp painting done before the end of the week. But ambitious as always, I have another big thing on my planner this week. You guys won't tell anybody, will you? I'm planning to launch a Kickstarter at the end of the week. It's a secret. I have all the numbers figured out, and I know where I'm getting my shipping materials and my prints and everything else that I have planned. But I still need to shoot my pitch video. That's why I'm all gussied up today. And I need to work on some ancillary art for the actual Kickstarter page. It's going to be a smaller sized Kickstarter, just so I can give it a try and straighten out a few kinks before I launch the Stolen by Fairies project later on this year. But I have some fun stuff planned for this one, so keep an eye out for that. I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting? Oh, Spectrum deadlines are coming up! So within the next 2 weeks or so, I'm gonna have to pick out a few pieces to send to that. Nervous and excited. Should I mail in my submissions? Should I send them digitally? I don't know. Probably digitally. That's faster, more reliable, but actual prints might get more notice. So I've got a lot to figure out as far as that's concerned. So that's about it. If all goes well, I'll post a new update video next week. In the meantime, again, you can check out my artwork at rleighanderson.com and wendylyn.com/Rachel. And that's RACHAEL. You can also see how my progress is going this week by following me on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram. Links to those down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Keep having fun. Bye-bye!